How you doing today, guys? This is Alex Gomez, your favorite teacher in the whole world. Today we're going to be talking about proportion, relationships, and graphs. Now, this is something that we can already been talking about before on the previous lesson when we were talking about constant rate of change. This lesson is the continuation of that one, but instead of just looking at tables, we are also going to be looking at graphs. Now, don't get panicked because it's really, really easy. Now I'm going to be walking around so that I can show you on the smartboard what everything is about. So, it says proportion, relationships, and graphs. This is the one that you have to do, A and B. However, I'm going to start with this one. You don't have this paper, but this is the reteach section, the one that I always like to talk about first. It says, a graph of a proportion relationship is a line that passes through the origin. That passes through the origin. Who can tell me what the origin is?
The zero.
It's zero, right? So basically the origin is where something starts, where something begins. Now, we're used to looking at graphs like this, right? Coordinate plane, like that. Let me make this a little thicker. Like that, right? Now, when we have those graphs, we have names for each one of those little things right here, each one of the sides. Does anybody remember those?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So we have quadrant 1. We're going to start right here, and we're going to go counterclockwise. Okay, the quadrants are named in Roman numerals. So that's 2, this is 3, and this is
4.
4. Right? Is that how you write? That's how you write it?
No.
Roman numerals?
Isn't it the 1 and then the V?
The 1 and the V. Very good. I was waiting for you to. You kind of remember this, guys, so that's a good thing. The 4 is a 1 and a V. V is 5. 1 before that is 4. Okay? So I did this on purpose. Now, when we look at this graph right here, we are only focused on quadrant 1. Okay? We're only looking at quadrant 1. And in this graph, it says the Y value represents the amount of peanut butter. The Y value is going to be the vertical axis, the one standing up. This right here, this is your Y value. And then we have the X value. Okay? The X value is the horizontal. So you can kind of remember of looking at the horizon. When you look at the horizon, you look that way, right? You look away. How is that? It's horizontal. And that's the x-axis, right here. X and Y. Now, each one of those axes are going to have different things. In this case, the x-axis is sandwiches, and the y-axis is talking about peanut butter tablespoons. So somebody's making sandwiches right now. And they're saying that for every 2 sandwiches, they're going to use how many tablespoons of peanut butter?
6.
So if you have 2 sandwiches, they're making 6 peanut butter tablespoons. So you can kind of connect the dots right here. And that's what I'm going to do. So you connect these two, and that's your first order pair. Okay? Now, order pairs, they're given in the form of X, comma, Y. Y'all remember this from 6th grade?
Yes.
Yes? Some of you do? Well, y'all need to remember. X always comes first. Just like we were talking about the tables, it's the same thing. So you have 1, 2, 3, I don't know, this is 24, 48, 72. For example, we're talking about days right there. Days and hours. So which one comes first?
X.
X. X. And just like in the alphabet, X always goes before Y. That's something that's going to tell you to remember. So now, and look at this right here. The constant of proportionality, K. Y'all remember this letter from yesterday?
Yes.
K.
I was not here yesterday.
Okay? We've been talking about it since 2-3 days ago.
Okay.
So, K, we have a formula for K that we learned already. K equals Y divided by X. K right here is the constant of proportionality. How do we find it? We divide the value of Y with the value of X. So, if we look at this point right here, what is my order pair? What is my value of X right there?
2.
My value of X in this
Oh,
point right there.
6.
6, very good. And my value of Y?
18.
18, very good. That's my order pair. So this is X and this is Y, always in that order. So if you were to put them on this equation, you have K equals, what goes on top?
Y.
Y, which is
18.
18 divided by,
6.
which is
2. Oh, wait.
3 by my count,
Yeah.
right? So, and we have it right here. So that means that every peanut butter sandwich is gonna have 3 tablespoons of peanut butter. Now you can kind of look at this graph like this and identify that there's a 1 right here. That there's a 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, right? And on the y-axis, are we going by ones?
No.
This one, you gotta pay attention to these scale factors, guys. In this case, we're going 1 by 1. But what about this one?
3.
We're going by 3, so this is 3, 6, 9, 15, 21, right? You gotta pay attention to the scale factor because if you don't, it's gonna mess it up all the way down. So, if you put another dot right here, one sandwich has
1.
3 tablespoons. And that's what we just found by doing this equation. It's the same thing as a table, but now we have a graph. Any questions so far?
No.
Now, in order to know if a graph is proportional or not, there's 2 things that we have to look at. Is the line straight? In this case, if you
Yes.
connect the dots, is the line gonna be straight?
Yes.
That's the first thing. It's inclined, but it's straight. The second thing, and the most important thing to know if it's a proportional relationship or not,
It's proportional.
it has to go through the
Origin.
origin. Does that one go through the origin?
Yes.
Yes.
If it's not in a straight line, it's not proportional.
If it's a line like goes like that, it's not gonna be proportional. If it's a straight line, but it doesn't pass through the origin, it's not gonna be proportional. It has to go through the origin, otherwise it's not gonna be proportional. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, let's move on to the examples right here. Let's go through the examples. It says, fill in the blanks to write the equation of the given proportional relationship. So we look at a graph, at this graph right here, and it says the x-axis, because that's the x, is the time worked. How many hours they work, compared to the y-axis, how much money they make, right? So I know, looking at this first relationship right here, this first coordinate right there given to us, if I connect it, I got the points. How do you read them first? It has to be x comma y. So how would I write this point? 2 comma
14.
14, very good. Now to find k, again, is y divided by x, right? In this case, what's my y?
14 divided by 2.
14 divided by 2, which is?
7.
7, very good. That's k, that's my constant of proportionality. So if I look at the graph, if I only work 1 hour, how much money am I gonna make?
$14.
1 hour.
7.
$1, 7. That's what it means, okay? Now, look at the question. The x value represents?
Time worked.
Time worked. What about the y value?
Pay.
The pay per hour, right? So using the point, and we can use this one because we already did it, right? 2 comma 14 K equals y divided by x, which is,
14 divided by 2.
very good, which is?
7.
Now, it says an equation for the graph is, remember the equation, y equals kx. We already found k right there, right? So the equation will be, just like when we were talking about the tables, what's the equation? Y equals,
X,
Okay, oh, 7x.
7x. Very good. What if I would have used H for hours and P for pay? Would that change my equation?
No.
yes,
This equation will be the same except for the letters, right? The letters will change. So now this is H and this is P instead of X and Y. How would I rewrite it? What goes first?
Y,
The Y, which is in this case is now the pay equals $7
Y,
per hour. It's the same thing. Using different variables. Any questions so far? Anybody? Next one, and then you're on your own. So we're looking at this graph. What does the X value represent?
Number of students.
Number of students. X. And the Y value represents?
Admission cost.
Cost. So using a point, and we're gonna select one point. Let's do this one right here. If we connect it, what do we get?
24 commas 48.
Very good. Which one is X? The 24 or the 48?
24.
So this is X comma Y. Always X before Y. So my equation is gonna be what? K equals
48 divided by 24.
48 divided by 24, which gives you
2.
2. So this is K. My equation is gonna be,
Y equals 2x.
and that's it. Any questions so far?
no,
Now, when will you see a graph that doesn't go through the origin? Let me give you an example. Let's say that you're gonna sign up for a gym membership, right? Most of the time you have to pay an initial fee. Let's say you're gonna pay $10 to start with and then $10 a month. So that's when you're gonna cross at 10 and then go straight up, right there. You're gonna cross at 10 and go straight up. That did not go through the origin, so it wouldn't be proportional. It'll be linear, but not proportional. Any questions, guys? Well, that's it for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. Have a great day. Thank you.